You're listening to Keeping It 100 with Mel and Bruce, sponsored by the 100 Black Men of Las Vegas. My name is Mel Tillar, and I'm your host. Today, a very special guest. His name is Nijel Murray. Nijel, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
I am thrilled to have this conversation with you. You run a nonprofit. Tell us the name of your nonprofit.
Yeah, so I run a nonprofit here in Las Vegas called Klothes for Kids.
That is fantastic. Also, tell us, at what age did you start this nonprofit?
So I'm currently 18 right now, but I started the nonprofit when I was 14.
Started the nonprofit at 14 years old. I'm jealous. My kids are not doing that. Didn't do that at 14. I know a lot of parents out there are saying, what kind of water did he drink? All right, we're going to get to that. But first, let's talk about what your nonprofit does.
Yeah, so Klothes for Kids provides clothing and other basic necessities for children who have recently been placed into a foster home. So when they're dispatched into a foster home, we're able to, get them some things to last them for about a week or so until their actual foster parents can go out and get them a full wardrobe.
That's very interesting. How did this concept come about?
Yeah, so when I was 14, our family actually began to foster. And in fact, I remember like it was yesterday, I was sitting at school and I got a call saying you're going home early. And so my parents had been taking classes to be eligible to foster. And that was actually a day that we got our first call. And so they picked me up early from school. We went down to Child Haven here in Las Vegas. And then for those of you that don't know, Child Haven is the place where they keep all of the foster children and things like that. And so there was one boy who they had that could go home with us. So we sat there with him for about 30 minutes just to talk to him and see if he was comfortable coming home with us. Because at the end of the day, it's their choice.
Okay, before you go any further, let me make sure that I understand. Your mother, your father, and you went to this interview. Okay, correct. Now, is that typical?
I think normally it's just the parents,
yes.
The child. Yeah, like I just wanted to go because I was so excited, like to get a new foster brother and have someone to hang out with. So I got picked up early from school, but I'm pretty sure normally the Irish person probably wouldn't have done that. But yeah, it was us three. We talked to him for about 30 minutes. And after we asked him, do you want to go home with us? He wanted to go home. So we're like, cool, perfect. I was very excited. So he gathered all of his belongings. He didn't have too much stuff, and it was actually in a trash bag. And so I helped him put all of his stuff into the car. When we got back, I began to show him around the house, brought him to his room, which is actually the room I'm in right now, is the room that he stayed in.
All right.
But yeah, I showed him around, showed him my room. And so before bed, we began to unpack his bag. And when we unpacked his bag, I noticed that the clothing inside of his bag was either way too big for him, way too small, and it didn't fit. And you could tell he did not have confidence in himself, and he did not want to wear those clothes. He had school the next day, and you could tell like wearing these clothes was not going to be an option. So my parents had to run out at around 11:30 p.m. to try and go, to Walmart or Target to try and get him something that he could actually wear, because he was missing so much of just your basic necessities.
Right.
And that was very stressful on my parents. And after they returned home and he tried on his clothes, instantly he lit up. At first, he was very quiet. He didn't talk too much, but he began to talk. He began to smile, show his own personality. And I noticed his transition, and I wonder, like, did this just happen to us, or is there other foster children who also go into their foster home without the right clothes and necessities? So my mom had some friends that were also fostering as well. And so she reached out to them and asked them like what happened. And they pretty much told us the same situation happened. They didn't have any clothes, they didn't fit. And so that's when I got the initial idea for Klothes for Kids. And so a few weeks later, I applied at my orthodontics. Shout out to my orthodontist for making my teeth straight. But yeah, I applied for a scholarship on my orthodontist called the World Changer Scholarship. And I wrote about if I won the scholarship, how I would change the world. And so I wrote about my idea for Klothes for Kids and how I wanted to help children in foster care. And thankfully, I won that. And I used that money to get Klothes for Kids registered as an official 501c3 nonprofit.
Okay,
And
so let me stop you once again. This was your idea, not your mom's, not your dad's. This was your idea, and you actually wrote your essay telling how you were going to change the world.
correct. Yes. So I wrote the
All right.
essay. Took me a long time because I do not like to write. Like even now I'm in college and every time I got to write a paper, it's literally the worst. But I put in the work. I wrote the essay, won the scholarship, and I used that money to get Klothes for Kids registered as an official 501c3 nonprofit.
How much money? How much money?
It was $500 to get it registered. I think pretty sure the scholarship was a $1,500 scholarship. So 500 went to how I was going to change the world. So I got Klothes for Kids registered. 500 went to my school, and then the other 500 went for me to go to college. And so that's how I used that money. And yeah, that's how it began.
That's a great, great story. So you started this at 14. When did you actually become socially conscious? Because you're telling me that you literally wanted to go, you wanted to be there at the very beginning to meet whomever you all decided to bring home, be a part of the first interview, that first interaction. When did you start becoming socially conscious?
Socially conscious in terms of like the issue in the foster care system, or
Socially conscious as far as caring about someone beside yourself, because most kids, guys at 14, they're starting to think about the little girls. Obviously, they're thinking about baseball, basketball, football, running, playing, games, those kinds of things. And I'm not saying that you didn't think about those things, but in addition to that, you started caring about someone other than yourself.
yeah. So I mean, I've always loved to help other people out in any way that I can. But I really just put myself in his shoes because a lot of people know this about me, but I am really into fashion. So like all type of fashion, streetwear fashion, different things like that. And I know how important clothes are to me. And I know clothing is an expression of myself. So like if I can't wear the clothes that I feel confident in, it's almost like you're not yourself. And so I seen that and I put myself in his shoes and was like, man, like I would not want to be in that situation, having to wear clothes to school in front of your friends that you don't want to wear. It's not necessarily about not being cool. It's about not wearing clothes that I want to wear, because everybody has a different style. Everybody likes different things, and not being able to express yourself is like, I wouldn't want to be in that situation. And so I felt empathy for him. And from there, that's when I really just saw the need. And since then, I feel like my desire to help people has grown even stronger because I've been able to help so many children. And not only is it benefiting them, but it also makes me feel good to be able to help people and know that I did everything in my ability to make your life a little bit better. I might not change your life. I might not completely shift the projection of whatever's going on in your life, but at least I can do the best that I can to, make things better for, or in the best of my abilities.
Okay, so what school do you go to?
So right now I go to UNLV, University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
All right, right here in town, right here in Las Vegas.
Correct.
All right, that's great. Tell me this. You are now a freshman?
So this is gonna be my second year.
Second year,
I'm
okay.
sophomore.
All right, so you're going to be a sophomore. What do you plan on doing next?
So right now, I'm majoring in marketing at UNLV, and although this is my second year, this is also my last year because I graduated high school with an associate's degree. So I only have to do 2 more years after I graduated high school. So I already did one. I got 1 more left, which is going to be this year. And after that, I plan on I have a marketing internship with the WNBA team here in Las Vegas, the Aces. And so
Yes.
after that, I plan on still working for them until eventually I really want to open up my own digital marketing agency where I can provide the service of marketing to other small businesses, people who are interested in building personal brands, helping people's businesses grow on social media, things like that. As well as I'm really into finance, so other little side hustles like investing, real estate, things like that. I don't want to be a real estate agent, but I definitely want to get my hands on some real estate, and start getting some passive income in that way. But the main thing is to a marketing agency, as well as keep doing clothes for kids.
I like that. I like that. Any other plans to change the world?
So there are a few other things that I want to do, which we're kind of trying to shift out. So once again, I found another need. I mean, clothing is not only an issue for foster children. There are also just regular families who just struggle with providing, their children or the people who they're responsible for the right attire. So right now, I really want to begin helping all kids, like not just exclusively foster children.
Yes.
So right now, like we're hosting different events, and instead of it making only foster children, I'll just make it all children. So for instance, this Thursday, on what is it, August 4th, we're gonna be having a back to school event. And it's normally we do it at some community center, but this time we're doing a little bit different. Thrifting, like thrift stores right now, is like a huge trend, and it's something that I do all the time. Like literally, the shirt I have on right now, I got from a thrift store.
Yes.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take all the kids thrifting. So we're all gonna give them a credit. I'm gonna be out there with them, helping them find some cool clothes. And it's gonna be a good time. And it's not only open to foster children, but it's open to all children. So that's gonna be fun. But another thing I want to do with Clothes for Kids is a lot of times once they reach the age of 18, they age out of the system, which a lot of times leads to, obviously, if you don't have anything set up and planned before you're 18, that could end up in homelessness, just getting into some things that you probably should not be getting into. And so I want to have a transitional home. So once they age out of the system, we will be able to, place them in this home and teach them good skills and provide them resources to kind of give them a push start into entering like the workforce and the regular world. So that's another kind of cool initiative thing that I want to do in the future.
You've been listening to Nijel Murray, an outstanding young man with lots of ideas about how to change the world. Nijel, I have been just enthralled with all the things that you're doing. I love everything that you're doing. Your success speaks wonders. And for those who continue to hear the narrative about our children, especially our young Black men, I want you to remember Nijel Murray. Nijel, what do you want to leave our audience with?
First off, thank you to all of those who have supported me since I began this. The community is really the reason why we're able to do this. Yeah, I started it, but at the end of the day, I can't do this by myself. All the people who volunteer for us, all the people who, donate to us, we run completely off of donations. I do not get paid doing this. This is completely voluntary work. But thank you to all of those who support me and Clothes for Kids. And to the young people out there watching this, if there are any, if I can do it, you can do it. If you see an opportunity to help someone or an issue, you never know how much of an impact you can make. When I started Clothes for Kids, if you would have told me I would have been able to help as many children that I've helped today, I probably wouldn't believe you, especially because I was so young. But trust me, if I can do it, you most definitely can. So go out there and make that change.
Talk to us about how to contact you, Nijel.
Yes, so we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Instagram and Facebook is the main ones that we post on. We don't really post on Twitter, but that's Clothes for Kids LV. So it's with the K, so KLOTHES Kids, KIDS LV. And then our website is klothesforkidslv.com as well. If you guys have any questions or anything you want to say, you can reach out via Instagram or Facebook or on our website. Our email is attached to that. And we also have a little chat box. So if you have any questions or you need help with anything, we will definitely get back with you as fast as we can.
You've been listening to Keeping It 100 with Mel and Bruce, sponsored by the 100 Black Men of Las Vegas, speaking to outstanding young Black men. His name is Nijel Murray, and I can't wait to see what he does in the future. And that's Keeping It 100.